everybody. Welcome to another mini lesson with Miss Ross. Today we're going to be talking about characterization in literature. What is characterization? This is probably review. Characterization is just the process through which an author develops a character, tells us about their personality and what kind of person or character they are. There are two types of characterization: direct and indirect. They are exactly what they sound like. Direct characterization is when a writer directly tells you what that character is like. If a character is described as young or giving, that just straight up tells us that this character could be assigned that character trait. They're young, they're giving. So this is a telling statement. If an author says she was a quiet girl, again, that's directly telling us we could say that a character trait for this character is that she is quiet. Indirect characterization is a showing statement. The writer reveals what a character is like by describing something that they are wearing, something they do, something they say. So the character trait is implied, which means that we have to read between the lines to figure out which character trait is implied through the writer's showing statement. So if we look at this boy over on the right-hand side and imagine that he was a character in a story, the writer might say, when the teacher looked over, the boy had his pencil stuck up in his nose, in his mouth, and even in his ear. He looked like a walrus with his pencil tusks. So what does that tell us about this boy? Perhaps this boy is a class clown. He seems like kind of a goof, kind of a show-off. The writer tells us that this boy is a class clown by describing something that he does, showing us what this boy does. That would be an example of indirect characterization. An easy way to look for indirect characterization in a text is to use the STEAL method. That is an acronym. It stands for speech, thoughts, effect on others, actions, and looks. So these would all be examples of indirect characterization. Something the character says, speech, things the character thinks about, that would be thoughts. How others feel about the character, how they act in the character's presence. That's the effect on others. Their actions, just what they do. And then looks, things the character's wearing, descriptions of what they look like. It's really easy to mistake looks as direct because the writer might say that a girl has shiny hair. That doesn't really tell us anything directly about the character, even though it kind of seems like it, that she has shiny hair. Instead, that might tell us that she cares about the way that she looks or something else about this character. So looks are always indirect characterization, not direct characterization. Just something to remember. So let's try it. We have two examples here. I want you guys to think about whether these are direct or indirect characterization. The first one says, Kira is so friendly and trustworthy that it is clear why she has so many friends. Do you think that this is direct characterization or indirect characterization? If you thought direct characterization, you're right. It says that Kira is friendly and trustworthy. Those are character traits that the writer tells us. So this is direct characterization. The second example says, as Derek pulled his car into the front of the building, he noticed the handicap parking signs. He parked his car anyway. So it's implied here that Derek is not supposed to be parking there because it says he parked his car anyway. Would this be an example of direct characterization or indirect characterization? If you're thinking indirect, again, you are correct. So this is implying that Derek might be kind of a jerk. If he's parking here anyway, maybe he's really selfish. That is revealed through his actions. That's one of the things that we can remember for indirect as part of STEAL, his actions. Okay, let's look at some examples from different movies As we watch, I want you to think about whether this is relying on mostly indirect characterization or mostly direct characterization. This example is from the movie Mean Girls.
Of course, all the plastics from the same gym class. Where are the plastics?
They're teen royalty. If North Shore was Us Weekly, they would always be on the cover.
That one there, that's Karen Smith. She is one of the dumbest girls you will ever meet. Damien sat next to her in English last year.
She asked me how to spell orange.
That little one, that's Gretchen Wieners.
She's totally rich because her dad invented toaster strudel.
Gretchen Wieners knows everybody's business. She knows everything about everyone.
That's why her hair is so big. It's full of secrets.
And evil takes a human form in Regina George.
Okay, so does this rely mostly on direct characterization or indirect? What do you think? If you're thinking mostly direct characterization, you are spot on. There is some indirect characterization, like her hair is so big because it's full of secrets. That might be indirect characterization, but this clip mostly relies on direct. They're described as, one of the girls is described as one of the dumbest girls you'll ever meet. Another one is totally rich. One is evil. So these are examples of direct characterization. They're assigning character traits to these characters here. Let's look at one more video example. This one is from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So the first Harry Potter movie. I want you to think about whether this is direct or indirect characterization mostly.
Don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing. The swish and flick. Everyone. Swish and flick. And enunciate. Wingardium Leviosa. Off you go then. Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Stop. You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. You do it then if you're so clever. Go on. Wingardium Leviosa. Oh, well done. See here, everyone. Miss Gray just done it.
All right, so what do you guys think? Does this rely mostly on direct characterization or indirect characterization? If you're thinking indirect characterization, you are correct. She seems to be a very, very intelligent and skilled witch. She seems to be a very, very good student. She definitely knows what she's doing when it comes to magic here. But she also might be kind of a know-it-all, the way that she corrects Ron. So this is implied through her actions and the things that she says in this clip. All right, you guys are ready. Now you can try analyzing characterization as you read Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving in this lesson. Have a good day.